Let's go to the stats on that one.
Did you hit record?
I did.
Okay. Welcome into another episode of New England Sports Guys. I'm your host, Yaman, and this is my co-host, Smitty. It's Super Bowl weekend. We're watching a little golf before the pregame starts. Billy Horschel hitting a nice shot there.
Was it nice?
Well,
still in the air.
We'll find. It landed on the green. It's nicer than my shots.
That's true. Yeah, you. By the way, your putter sucks. It does miss putts.
Yeah, it misses holes, right?
I did get mine back. Did I send you? I sent you the pictures, didn't I?
You did. It looks pretty nice.
Yeah. I'm super excited about that. Did I send you those?
You're gonna have to make sure it still works because they had to take it apart.
They did. It is a brand new face, and I had to go get the new grip on it. Mm-hmm. But I did that on Friday. Took care of that.
So before we get into our Super Bowl matchup and what we think is going to happen, let's talk about the topics in the NFL that are going on right now. So the first thing I noticed is the Packers came out and they were like, we're going to go all in on Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is playing nice in public anyway with them. But I'm going to put air quotes around this. They're $48 million, almost $49 million over the cap. They have Devontae Adams that they still have to pay because he's going to be a free agent.
And I think Aaron Rodgers' cap hit is 42 or so.
Something ridiculous. So how do you pay both players? Because obviously Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be like, well, pay me, but let Devontae Adams go. Obviously, they'd have to come out to a long-term deal, which Aaron Rodgers, that was his goal the whole time that he's been complaining the past couple of years. That was his whole goal, was to get security. We're going to our stats guy.
46? 46, okay. I knew it was in the 40s.
But we know that the cap is, monopoly money, and they can manipulate it and whatever.
But they can't sign both guys. They're just not going to be able to.
Aaron Rodgers would have to come way down to a super cap friendly deal to be able to keep Devontae Adams his favorite weapon.
$750K a year.
I mean, he could drop it down to 27, 28.
Or he could drop it to 750. How much money has he made over his career? A stat guy, he's got to be in.
But he's a very spiteful guy.
He's got to be in over 100 sheets.
Yeah, but he wants to
120.
He wants to stick it to them. I bet he's over 150, but
it's more money than he's ever going to spend.
So here's the thing. Do you think Aaron Rodgers stays with the Packers? We'll start with that question.
Yes.
Do you think he does?
I do.
Do you think that's good for the league?
That's not what you asked.
Okay. All right. Do you think it's good for the league?
125 million. No, paid on cap. 264 million.
It's not bad.
He's never going to spend it.
But I don't think he's ever going to take a deal low enough like Tom Brady did, or a rookie quarterback does for a year.
Well, a rookie quarterback doesn't get get an opportunity. They're set salaries.
No, but the only professional that I've seen do something like that is Tom Brady, where he takes close top 5, and then obviously all the new deals come out and it pushes his number way down. And so the Patriots end up looking like geniuses because Tom Brady is the 15th paid quarterback in the league. Well,
and then they go through cap hell where they had to have Cam Newton as the quarterback one year.
Sure, but back with Tom Brady, they were winning Super Bowls. So that's a winning formula.
Sure,
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to do that. But I think Aaron Rodgers always wanted to stay with the Packers. But I think with free agency, I think everything that's going to happen in the next few months all relates to Aaron Rodgers. He is the first domino to fall, because if he resigns, then that means Jimmy G or Russell Wilson or Derek Carr can go to the Browns or Pittsburgh. But if he resigns with Green Bay, like I said, I think Russell Wilson still wants out. The 49ers just said that they're going to trade Jimmy G before March 30th.
I didn't see that.
I saw it today.
Oh, no shit.
We'll go to our stats.
Hot off the press. Did you see this?
Our stats guy will verify.
That 49ers confirmed they're going to trade Jimmy G?
Yeah, they confirmed they're going to trade him before the March 30th, I believe. So he has a no trade clause that happens on that day. But I think they're going to be good to him because he was good to them. They drafted his.
You mean got him to a Super Bowl and a NFC Championship game?
Yeah, but unlike Aaron Rodgers, when Aaron Rodgers, they drafted Trey Love behind Aaron Rodgers was all pissy with the team. He wanted to be traded on draft night.
They're on two different levels though.
Sure.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy G is probably not.
Right, but Trey Lance is a much bigger threat to Jimmy G is than Love is to Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
Like, like I don't know why Aaron Rodgers would feel that it was on ESPN.
He's making shit up. He does it all the time. Literally does it all the time.
So if they can't keep Aaron Rodgers, like where do you think Devontae Adams is going to land?
Hopefully in New England.
What would we need? What would we need him for? We don't even use outside receivers.
I'm sure we could find a use for Devontae Adams. Literally, there are 31 other teams that would find a use for Devontae Adams, including the Bengals, who have two of the best wide receivers in the game.
I don't know. He looked pretty good, next to Cooper Kupp and Odell.
They won't. They're in cap hell, and they don't have like the biggest problem with the Rams going forward is if they went all in. They're all in, getting rid of the next like 4 years.
Ooh, that'd be a good spot.
That would be. Travis just showed us the Chargers, but did Mike Williams resign?
I don't,
because Keenan Allen's still under contract. Your lights on, by the way.
I don't think he did resign, but he's.
But man, would that be a monster lineup?
I think the Chargers came out and mentioned that they want to resign him.
But anyway, getting back to it, the Rams are going to be screwed going forward. They don't have any first round picks for the next like 15 years. I'm pretty sure they sold off everybody for the future. And I want to say their next first round pick is 2025. Is that right, Travis? Does that sound right?
For the Rams?
Yeah.
That sounds right. They literally trade everybody.
So
traded every pick.
Oh, right. You can edit this. It's on live.
This one's not.
Which is why I haven't been talking.
So my next topic is so Kyler Murray is what, 23? And so he hasn't
under 25.
He hasn't gotten a deal yet. And they're not to the point where he needs to have a deal yet. But other teams have extended people already, like Josh Allen's already got his deal early. Mahomes got his deal early. Baker Mayfield has not gotten his.
He won't.
And he shouldn't. But here's the thing. Kyler Murray wiped his, I think it was his Twitter account.
All his social media. I saw this. All his social media of all Arizona stuff.
Yeah. So, and they're like, is that a thing? Yeah, he's 23. Of course it's a thing. Like, that's how he sends messages or statements.
Yeah.
But if I was the Cards, I would not do anything. I'd let his contract go all the way to the end and see what happens. Because the rumor is they might not keep Cliff Kingsbury past next year. So it depends how they do next year. But I don't like Kyler Murray. He's too small of a quarterback for me. He can get around, but like he's already sort of has an injury history. They've already gotten him a ton of weapons. They played very poorly down the stretch, but they also lost Hopkins and lost some other guys. So
what a putt, Billy Orschel! Oh, that thing just leaked by.
They do not have a first round pick until 2024, and they do not own their second or third round pick this year because of the Von Miller trade.
Yeah,
but they do have a third round comp this year because of their front office executive Brad Holmes leaving. And
they'll also get a comp. Oh, sorry, not them. The 49ers will get a comp, a third round pick, the 49ers, because Mike McDaniel's signed in Miami. So I don't like Kyler Murray. What do you think about Kyler Murray? He's a good fantasy quarterback, but I don't like watching him play.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be he'll be a guy that can win games, but I think he'll be in the same boat as Lamar Jackson. He'll win games, put up big stats, but
so he's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he won't. Yeah, sure. But he won't actually win any playoff games or I think we talked about it last time. It still cracks me up that Tom Brady has a better record against the NFC in the playoffs than Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah, and he's only been in there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, and his Super Bowls.
Yeah. The 6 Super Bowls, I think the 6 Super Bowls is either one less win or ties Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers might have 7 wins in the playoffs.
Tom Brady's got 7 Super Bowls.
But one of them was for Tampa Bay, 6 of them in
Sure.
New England. So 6 NFC playoff wins.
Sure.
So, but it's just crazy. That stat blows me away.
And we've had this conversation before about how, the greatest of all time when they talk about quarterbacks, if you talk about like passing and skill, it could be Aaron Rodgers. But like, if you're talking about like greatness, it's Tom Brady. Like nobody compares as far as like Super Bowls. Like Joe Montana was close.
I don't know that even passing and skill you'd put Aaron Rodgers. He was like fundamentally one of the worst quarterbacks.
Yeah, but he can make some throws that Tom Brady can't make.
Sure. There's lots of people that can make throws that Tom Brady can't make. None of us, but
Yeah.
There's lots of people, lots of NFL quarterbacks that can make throws that Tom Brady can't make.
Yeah,
So,
but if you're talking like pure passer, like Tom Brady doesn't come into like my top 5.
sure.
Like Dan Marino would be up there, Peyton Manning would be up there,
But
Drew Brees.
so
But if you're talking about accuracy, it's Tom Brady, and Tom Brady typically makes the best decisions. And I would say Aaron Rodgers is up there in decision making.
yeah. Well, it also
Manning.
helps when you have literally all-star wide receivers every year. And
Aaron Rodgers?
yeah.
I think Tom Brady has done a lot more with less than Aaron Rodgers has.
Yeah.
So when they talk about how good he is, and I know he just won the MVP, which I don't think he should have won. I think Tom Brady should have won that award. Because they did the NFL honors and they're talking
Only
about,
271 carries, Scotty Scheffler. Pussy.
and they were talking about the awards that went out there. The NFL MVP went to Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he should have won it. I thought it should have been Tom Brady.
I got a question for you.
I think they should have given it to Tom Brady on his way out.
Why does the NFL MVP not win defensive or offensive player of the year?
Because they like to spread them out.
It was a rhetorical question, Ian, but
I think
if you're the MVP, you were the best player at whatever offensive or defensive side of the ball.
They just want to give out more awards. That's all it is. People can put it in their contract.
It's mental.
Who won Offensive Rookie of the Year? Well, that was Jamar Chase, right?
Yeah,
And so that means Joe Burrow won Comeback Player of the Year.
correct.
Over Dak Prescott.
Over Dak. And Micah Parsons ran away with defensive player of the year.
each league,
No,
each conference.
no.
But there's an offense and defensive rookie.
It's not like baseball where they give out awards for literally everything on both conferences.
Yeah.
All right.
You mean the Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, and Bronze Jockstrap aren't all awards in the NFL?
No, they're not. Well, at least I'm assuming they're not. I've never seen it. So before we
go any farther, so Aaron Rodgers, I think, is the big domino. If he re-signs with the Packers, that means different things for everybody else. Because he's the
no, I
best
wouldn't
player.
say everybody else, but
All the other
many other
quarterbacks,
teams, yes.
Jimmy G, Russell Wilson. I'd say Derek Carr. I would say Baker Mayfield. All those guys
Carson
are like
Wentz.
Carson Wentz is
He's
another one,
unlikely to re-sign Woes. He's unlikely to be retained by the Colts.
and Tannehill's another guy. A lot of teams have like these middle quarterbacks who aren't Aaron Rodgers, aren't Tom Brady. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen to those teams. Deshaun Watson's still hanging out there.
So again, the big thing about Aaron Rodgers, that
Somebody
$46 million cap, that was yesterday,
That was-
Sam Ryder. And they just chucked Beers. Look at this. Just absolutely shredded the course with Beers. And then there was another one that happened today.
That's ridiculous. It's luck, but still.
There was a lot of skill in it too.
A lot of it's luck. Well, anyway, I would like to see Jimmy G with the Steelers or the Browns. I think that would be an improvement for both of those teams. I'd like to see Russell Wilson traded because he wants out. The 49ers are going to trade Jimmy G probably outside the conference. So it's probably to the AFC, but probably to a good AFC team, a winner. I don't think they're trading him to.
You said he has no trade clause, or it kicks in at the new start of the season?
No, he has a no trade clause. It stops after the 30th. But they said they're going to trade him before the 30th. So it sounds like they're working with him.
It stops after the 30th next year. So if he stayed on their roster, he doesn't have a no trade clause.
He'll become a free agent.
Oh, so he's not under contract.
No, he has to be. Yeah, he has to be under contract still. Sorry.
So would he still have a no? I would assume he'd still have a no trade clause.
I don't know.
Usually it's the first couple of years you don't, and then later in your contract you do.
But Baker Mayfield doesn't deserve a contract. He sucks. But I think
Garoppolo's no trade clause is only applicable for the 2021 league year. Under terms of the contract beginning on March 16th at 1 p.m., the 49ers can trade Garoppolo to any team without his prior written approval.
Huh.
all right. So I've gotten the date wrong. I said March 30th, but it's March 16th.
It's the start of the new NFL season.
Yeah. But they want to work with him and because he did well for them and they want to reciprocate. So I bet he goes to the Steelers would be my guess, because they don't have anybody on the roster who they can get. I really want Aaron Rodgers to go to the Broncos. That'd be great. I also think that Jimmy G could end up in the Broncos, or Russell Wilson could end up there. So,
Rain and beers.
I've seen a lot of conspiracy theories out there that Tom Brady
Is going to come back to the Patriots and go to another Super Bowl and win it.
No, Tom Brady, the Tampa Bay is going to release Tom Brady instead of holding them on like the exempt retirement list. So if they release him, he could come out and re-sign with somebody, and he could go to San Francisco because Jimmy G would be gone.
He could replace Jimmy G in the ultimate twist.
Because
that's awesome.
They just need a quarterback, and Trey Lance isn't ready yet. So Tom Brady would go back to his hometown team that he wants to play for anyway. And so I hear that. Somebody also said that he would go play for Josh McDaniels, but I think the Raiders are a few years away from having enough pieces to be that good.
Yeah, they're out a star wide receiver.
At least one. And he wasn't even a star.
Henry Ruggs.
He wasn't a star.
Oh, okay. You looked at me like, who the hell are you talking about? He was a stud wide receiver.
For Alabama.
I think he
Actually, they could probably win with Tom Brady in Vegas, because they have two great tight ends. They do have Brian Edwards, and then they also have Hunter Renfrow, which he loves slot guys. So Hunter Renfrow had a great year this year.
I think the implication about losing Ruggs is it's kind of the final dagger of the fact that they don't have anybody left on their roster from their first 3 rounds of the draft.
Yeah, they lost
over
everybody.
the last 4 years.
Oh no shit.
They don't have
They traded away all their O-line
or
and
cut them or
Yeah.
had
The only guy they have left is like Leatherwood or whatever his name is. He's a lineman. He's the only guy.
oh yeah, he was a rookie this year though.
No.
Leatherwood, I thought he was.
And they overreached when they drafted him. They could have gotten him easily in the second round. They took him like 15th or something like that.
it's hard to build both talent wise and budget wise if you're not hitting on rookie contracts.
Yeah.
And they just haven't.
They lost their corner. They had to release him. They're a number 1 pick.
Is that your scouting department? It must be, right?
Well, it was John Gruden and Mike Mack were the two.
No, I know, but that's your scouting department is the most to blame for all that.
I think Vegas is a lot to blame for that.
Depends if you let
I
him.
mean, have you seen the news in the last 2 weeks?
Oh, like the city of
I mean,
Vegas.
people getting in legal trouble. Like, yeah, you can see what people have in college, but as adults, it's really up to them.
Yeah.
But people have been. I mean, Alvin Kamara just got busted in Vegas for.
Look at that flop shot, Travis. That should warm your heart. Although it wasn't a great flop shot, but
it's hard to get it to stick on these greens.
Yeah.
They're so solid.
The hockey players don't have an issue with rookie contracts.
Oh, it's because they have to retreat to their igloos, so they can't get it.
No, the AHL team is in Henderson,
Mhm.
right next to Vegas.
Henderson County is right next door.
Yeah, it's literally like 15 minutes from the strip.
I mean, it's one continuous city. At this
Yeah,
point,
basically.
so it's-
So in 2022, I think there's going to be a quarterback domino, and it's going to start with Aaron Rodgers, and then
So what if he re-signs? Where's Wilson go?
Wilson's going to try to get to Denver, or the Steelers would be my guess, or the Browns. Any one of those teams with Wilson would be awesome. I also thought Wilson wanted to go to the Saints, but they're sort of in cap hell. But
Are they still in cap hell?
but they still need a quarterback. I think
Ian Book, bring him in.
Jameis Winston is a free agent, so I don't know where he's going to land.
Which Jameis wasn't.
You think he goes back to Tampa Bay?
There's a good opportunity there, but
Byron Leftwich has already worked for him. Byron Leftwich is still there.
The Saints are $75 million
Oh, yeah.
over the cap.
Yeah,
right?
they're
Which
how much is the
historically,
cap supposed to go up? Sorry,
it's
what
for-
expected to
but
go up?
I don't know enough about the Saints cap situation, but I don't know if they're still paying Drew Brees. I don't know.
They couldn't have, right? Wasn't this year the year they had to pay him, or all that cap space came forward?
I don't know. But also Jameis Winston's contract's going to be gone. They are paying the other quarterback there, Hill.
It was $11 million dead money for Drew Brees in the 2021 season. In the 2022 season, Drew Brees had another 11 because when
That's
he
not bad.
retired. So when you retire, they can designate you as a post June 1st, and it pushes
Saves money.
it to the next year's cap. Which
Gotcha.
is why they always say that it's a pre or post June 1st cut. Is if you cut them post June 1st, you can split the dead cap money between the 2 years, which is what they did.
There's so many like random, or not random, but like the gymnastics that go into it. With the cap.
I would say it's a very defined gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like, they're all like the Saints have been playing this cap limbo for years. And the reason why they're getting really punished for this is nobody foresaw COVID causing a cap contraction.
Cleveland.
But if they can make it this year with how much the cap is supposed to explode, if they do kind of like what the Patriots did, where they take 1 year to do a big cap reset, and then the cap explodes next year because of revenue and not having to
Probably had Vegas in
backdate a
there.
couple of COVID years, that all of a sudden they're just fully reset. Kind of like what the Steelers would be looking for.
Yeah.
But with the Steelers situation, it just makes it sillier that they drafted Najee Harris. Like by the time they get reset,
Is it as silly as Z Dirt drafting Najee Harris number 2? That made him so angry during the draft. It was so funny.
Yeah, needs a quarterback. Drafts has no quarterback in a 2 QB league. Drafts a running back number 1 or number 2.
Oh shit! Sorry, I had to bring it up.
So there's going to be a quarterback carousel that's going to happen, and the teams that I think that are ready to win now are that just need a quarterback is Denver, Carolina, Cleveland, San Francisco, the Carolina Saints, and Las Vegas is not there yet, but they're building up. But a lot of those teams are just desperate at quarterback right now, and they could do a lot of stuff. A lot of those teams have good defenses. Like Cleveland and San Francisco are built to win now. Like Denver as well.
You think Cleveland is?
Yeah. They just need a quarterback. They have the 3 of the best offensive linemen in football, and they got a great running game. They got good wide receivers. They got good tight ends.
They got hit pretty bad with injury and COVID bug this year. That really hurt them quite a bit.
What hurt them the most is that they have a shitty quarterback. Their quarterback is like Jameis Winston throwing 30 interceptions. Like Baker's not good. It's hard to win when Baker throws a pick 6.
Yeah, but he doesn't throw like a crazy amount of interceptions. It's more than he should.
It's not
But
helpful.
his decision making is bad.
Yes.
Do you think it's any consideration that Denver lands like a premier free agent quarterback? That becomes an absolute slaughterhouse of the division.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, it's gonna be-
Herbert, and like the worst quarterback in the division is now Carr again, and that's still an 8. Like that's a 500 team at
Yeah.
minimum. Right?
So that's why I think he re-signs with the
Vegas.
Packers,
Oh.
because there's nobody. He doesn't have to compete with anybody. Those are free wins. You're not going to lose to the
He
Lions
puts some
twice.
respect on Kirk Cousins' name.
You're not going to lose to the Vikings.
He
twice.
hates Kirk
You're not
Cousins.
going to lose to the Vikings. You're not going to lose to the Bears. Like, but yeah, if you have to go against Mahomes twice, Herbert twice, and Carr twice, like that's a problem. So I would like to see him there.
So
'cause
would you
they're
let me-
better talent-wise than those other teams.
Let me ask, if
Mm.
you're Aaron Rodgers, would you rather win a bunch of regular season games and lose first round of the playoffs.
That's his whole career.
But is Denver actually that good?
Agreed. Their defense played better the second half after they traded Von Miller.
You got Judy, you got 2 tight ends.
He is so high up on Judy. He has deep throated on Judy
No,
this whole year.
Judy's not even their best wide receiver. Cartland Sutton is.
This is
And
not
Tim
the
Patrick
Denver
is there.
team
Tim Patrick's
that went out and got Peyton Manning to win the Super Bowl.
agreed.
This is not, a Von Miller prime dragging.
They have Javonte
They're
Williams.
forced, so-
They have another running back. What's his name?
Melvin Gordon,
Melvin
but
Gordon.
Gordon's probably going to be gone.
He's under contract.
I thought last year was his last year,
No, he signed a 2-year deal.
and I think this was his second year.
You have to check us on that one.
Hmm.
But anyway, they have Javonte Williams, who was arguably one of the best running backs in football last year. So I think Denver's the place to be. I think Pittsburgh's the place to be. Carolina.
All right, let's. I think we should move on from this quarterback talk. I think we should get into the Super Bowl because it is Super Bowl day, and we're supposed to be live streaming here shortly.
Okay. So yeah, let's get into the Super Bowl. It's the Rams against the Bengals. I think it's going to be close. I think you're going to see some fireworks. I don't think that Joe Burrow and I don't think that Jamar Chase are going to shy away from the spotlight like people think they are. Like, oh, it's the Super Bowl. They've never played at that level.
I don't think so either. They played in the national championship.
Neither is Matthew Stafford. Yeah, exactly. They played in championship games before. They play against Alabama every year. Like, I think they're used to that type of pressure. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal as far as that goes. You could say the Rams have more experience because some of them were there on the team when they lost to the Patriots. But so as long as Sean McVay doesn't get starstruck at the other coach, I mean, I'm assuming he's going to make better decisions this time around.
Yeah.
I think if the Rams play extremely aggressive on defense and force Burrow away from Chase or not allow Chase to really develop into his routes, and they can get pressure on him that way. I mean, press coverage at the line, cheating your safeties down, double coverage on Chase, and let the defensive line win their matchups. That's the way they're going. I think that's the script because every other team the Bengals have beat outside of KC wasn't really an offensive slugfest, but the Rams can score out of nowhere and have more offensive talent than.
Yes.
So play aggressive on both sides of the ball and make the Bengals beat you.
So you want to hear a bold prediction?
So how do the Bengals win? Run?
No. Well, run and get the ball to T. Higgins.
Well, the biggest thing is the Rams D line against the O line of the Bengals. So how do you beat a good D line? You run. Only problem is they got Greg Gaines, who's a nose tackle, who is a run stuffer. You have Aaron Donald, you have Leonard Floyd and Von Miller.
But Leonard Floyd and Von Miller are passing disruptors. They're not great in the run. They're okay.
Right. So
they're above average,
right,
I'll say.
So should the Bengals stick to their run, even if they're down 10 points or 14 points?
I'd say 10, yes. 14, probably no. But again, my bold prediction is T. Higgins has more receiving yards than Jamar Chase.
That's not a bold prediction.
Why? Jamar Chase just won the
Jamar Chase is going to have Jalen Ramsey on him. You can even name the second corner on the.
It doesn't matter.
Tyler Boyd's going to have a good game too, probably.
I bet if you looked at the prop bet, that would get a plus 250.
I bet T. Higgins has over 80 yards.
That must be a prop bet, right?
I mean,
more receiving yards, Higgins and Chase.
I don't know. Individual yardage is obviously
It also depends on how the Rams play. If they play zone, but like Ramsey still follows Chase around, that's one way to do it. But if they just play straight up zone, Jamar Chase is going to kill them. T. Higgins is going to kill them. Boyd is going to kill them.
Tyler Boyd's going to have a good day too, I think. You know who they really need to get going is Uzma. But like you said, what's going to win or lose this game is the Cincinnati offensive line.
Yeah, and like earlier in the playoffs, they've had some bad stretches, but you'd really have to look at all those sacks one by one to see what happened there. Did Joe Burrow hold it too long, or did somebody like straight up miss a block?
Does it matter? He was sacked the most in the league. Does it matter?
But he's a young quarterback that holds onto the ball.
Sure.
So you can't blame the offensive line if he takes an 8-second sack. Not that that ever happens. It'd be much quicker than that, but
And they are going to need the game plan to get the ball out of his hands quickly because they know that
They're coming after him.
offensive line deficiency and that the strong point is the defensive line that they're facing against. They can't just allow Chase to have long developing routes.
And that's the big thing is Zach Taylor and his crew going to be able to game plan for that?
I think you're going to see jet sweeps, bubble screens, swing passes to Mixon. Just when you think that the Rams like a third and short, when you know they're going to bring the pressure, do a nice little swing pass, pick up the yardage, tire them out. That's what they're going to need to do. But if they stay in like predictable down and distances, they're going to be in some trouble.
Yep.
Against that pass rush.
So you still sticking with your prediction?
What I say, Rams. Yeah.
I'm going Rams too. Timo?
Rams.
I think the NFL wants, I think everybody wants that this game is going to be probably a shootout into the third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, I think the Rams pull away. Either they get a turnover.
Where's the Super Bowl squares? Because I want it whatever numbers I have for the second, third, and fourth quarter.
I don't know. What'd you do?
I don't want to. I want to win the second quarter and then not have a score change the rest of the game.
I mean, I got 0-0, so I'll take nothing I'll take a goose egg in the first quarter.
They'd break even.
Yeah, or 10-10, second quarter. I could win 2 quarters in a row. I like it.
Although I did get spoiled. Ian and I talked about this. Travis, I don't know if you remember last year is I won the third and the fourth quarter.
I won halftime,
so you were pumped too.
That was good.
Yeah.
I made money.
So another big thing for the Rams going into this is their offense is slightly limited because they don't have Tyler Higbee. Tyler Higbee had like 70 catches during the regular season.
Oh, he's a great tight end. I actually really like Tyler Higbee.
So they have a monster backup named Blanton who's 6'6", 262. Like he's a monster. That's Gronk size. Now the question is, can he catch? I haven't seen him catch, but he's a monster.
He is a monster and he can catch. And I'm trying to find stats really quickly.
So is he going to get the same snap count that Higbee gets, or are they just going to put Van Jefferson out there and run three wide receivers all the time? That's what I would do. Van Jefferson's actually pretty good. Van Jefferson, they use him to run their go routes basically. Since they lost the other guy for the season.
I mean, they're going to still probably have to line him up quite a bit because we know Sean McVay loves 11 personnel.
Yeah.
So they have to have, he is the most likely of the 2 tight ends that they're going to be suiting tonight to be on the field. Now, how will that translate into looks and routes and receptions? I don't know, but I would expect him to see the field more than 50% of the snaps.
Yeah. So with Higbee down, and Bobby Trees was the guy who's out for the season. So with Higbee going down, they brought up Darrell Henderson. So now they have another running back. So they have Sony Michel, Cam Akers is back, and Darrell Henderson is back. So I don't know how that rotation is going to work. I really don't like bringing back players that haven't been playing because they're rusty is what it happens. They're usually always rusty. And then this happens to be the Super Bowl. So now there's even more pressure. So like you get a player who hasn't played in a long time. He's nervous, gets out there, fumbles. Now we got a problem.
I mean,
Cam Akers fumbled twice. He tried to lose the game against Tampa Bay.
All right, so bench Cam Akers.
And he's only been in a handful of games anyway because he only came back at the very end of the season. However, he is by far the most dynamic person they have at the position. And Henderson.
Sony Michel's a tough runner, though. He can get you those body blow type runs.
It depends on what kind of position they find themselves in. If they get behind,
sure.
I think they have to go to Akers because of what he offers offensively.
Yeah, I think if they're behind, they're throwing.
Again, coming out with 11 personnel with the versatility that Akers has gives them more options where
I don't think Darrell Henderson can catch very well, but
I also don't see him being down big in this game either. Like they both have the potential to score quickly with their, between Kupp and OBJ, and then obviously Chase on the other side. Like there's big play potential on both sides of the ball, but I don't see them going down by 2 touchdowns in like early in the second.
All right, so we want to make some bold predictions here. Like, who's going to have more yards, Cup or Jamar Chase?
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup.
Yeah, I'll take Cooper Cup.
I don't know. That's a bold
Well,
prediction.
we'll go to the next one, OBJ or T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins will have more.
Yep. I agree with that.
Wait, yardage or receptions?
Yards.
Yeah. That's a hard one because OBJ, again, just big play. He doesn't need to touch the ball very many times. I think he'll have less receptions, more yards. Like OBJ will.
Who do you think will play better, Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
I think Stafford, and he won't be under duress nearly as much.
I'm going to go with Stafford. I think Stafford's going to play like the cleanest game he's played all year. So I don't think you'll see those couple interceptions he tends to throw every game. So that's why I think he'll have a good game. What are we rating now?
I'm going to give you the stats for Blanton.
So what about running back? Do you think the Rams rush for more yards, or do you think the Bengals rush for more yards?
The Rams.
I mean, if they're up big, they'll have to kill some clockwork then.
It depends. The Bengals could come out and try to get Mixon going. And that is one way to stop the pass rush is by getting the ground game going.
Mhm.
And that could they could try to establish it early to try to slow them down and then switch into a more balanced offense later. But if they get behind early, obviously they have to probably abandon the run game. So
Yeah.
I would think that they would come out and try to establish the run, but we'll have to see how
Oh man,
that was.
I don't know who did that.
Off.
Oh,
That's 2 dimples away, boys.
Yeah.
It's 2 dimples away.
so that's the last 2 games for Blanton. 2 for 18
And that's
and a touchdown, and then 5 for 57. And that's the game that Higbee went down.
Yeah. So I mean, the Rams offense will still have a tight end out there. It sounds like they're comfortable with using him.
What, 10 and a half basically yards catch?
But yeah, back to the running backs. A lot of it is going to be game script dependent. So
10.5, or I guess if you add both games, okay, it's 11. But
Oh, sorry, 11 and almost 11 and a half. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things are game script dependent with the running backs. Depends if your team's up or not. Yeah, if the Bengals can keep running and actually like
What a putt.
get yards and stay close through the first half, they might be able to keep running into the third quarter. I think hasn't that always been a problem for the Rams this year? Is the run defense?
I don't know that it's been that big of a
I
problem.
mean, it's not as bad as the Chargers.
It's not as bad as the other team in LA. That's what I was going to say.
Talk about a way to lose a season. You have bad running at the beginning of the season, bad run defense at the end of the season. It's awful.
It's will
Did you-
Von Miller become like the second person in history to have multiple Super Bowls with multiple sacks?
Yes.
Do you think he'll have more sacks than Aaron Donald?
Yes.
Today?
Because Aaron Donald's going to be double teamed. That's why. Von Miller's going to be free over there.
Yeah,
He's just gonna
I would
destroy
agree
it.
with that. I think he'll have multiple sacks and more than Aaron Donald.
This is going to be random, but who do we think is going to win the MVP?
Stafford.
If the Rams win, Stafford. If the Bengals win, Burrow.
Like, if going back for the last 20 years, if you just bet,
It's usually a quarterback.
if you bet on the winning team and the winning team
Quarterback
if you pick a team and then that team's quarterback to win the Super Bowl MVP, you have made out like a bandit on betting.
Oh,
It's just the most likely
Crushed it.
scenario.
I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. He's going to have like 13 receptions or something. It might not be a Super Bowl record, but it's going to be ridiculous.
If Cup wins, it means it's a very interesting game because
Ooh.
he would have obviously had to have a lot of receptions, a touchdown or 2, but Stafford would have had to make enough mistakes to keep the Bengals in the game, maybe like a fumble, a couple picks,
Couple
something like
picks.
that.
what did Tom Brady win against the Rams?
Yes,
Super Bowl MVP?
I think so.
I would have given it to Sony Michelle.
I think
Honestly.
I think Tom Brady won because he
Scored the only touchdown in the game,
because
right?
he just kept him from losing. So what other awards did they
That
give
wasn't
out?
Edelman that won it that year.
I don't.
No, I think Edelman was the Atlanta year because he had that banana lands catch.
Super Bowl
No, wasn't it White?
first.
Oh, that was James White. That's right.
Wide receiver Julian Edelman named MVP.
No shit.
For his 144 or 141.
Yeah, he had a ton of catches.
Eat it, Smitty. I was right.
Wow.
Do they give out any other awards in the Super Bowl? I don't think so.
Lombardi
The
Trophy.
Lombardi Trophy is usually
Yeah.
handed out.
That goes to the winning team. All
No,
right.
it's not like the NBA where they do like the MVP and such.
So here's my last question. There's a report out there that Sean McVay wants to focus on his family. He wants to prioritize his family after this game, whether or not they win or lose. You think he's going to be somebody like a John Madden, where he like retires really early and then goes off to do like some other online TV show?
So in a follow-up text, he said that he was committed to this team and he's still incredibly young. So I think he's going to coach for a while, but I don't think he'll be like a Belichick who's coaching in his 60s.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Because he's incredibly young, yes, maybe people think it's early. If he retires at 45, that'll still be like, what, 13, 15 years of head coaching in the NFL?
John Madden only coached till he only coached for 10 years, then he retired abruptly, but he was burnt out essentially. Do you think that's what is happening to McVay? Or do you think he's sort of like Sean Payton, he sees money, he can get paid more doing, the Pat McAfee show or whatever he's doing?
No, I honestly think McVay's thing is
Or
he's
broadcasting.
young. He's basically our age, right?
Mhm.
And he's got a young family. And so he wants to see those kids grow up. And I think that coaching takes so much out of you, right? You're day in and day out.
So do you think he's just going to retire? Or do you think he's going to be like pulling a Tony Romo and making 18 million broadcasting? Which, come to find out, they traveled more doing that than they did, coaching or whatever.
I think there's an opportunity to take some time off until his kids grow up and then maybe get back to it. Honestly, is that all of it, Sarah?
There's more in the bowl over here.
Gotcha.
So I think that'll be an interesting dynamic if he ends up winning the Super Bowl and walking out on top. So
I think there's like next to no chance that he leaves after the season.
I agree.
Irregardlessly of the outcome.
Irregardlessly.
Of the Super Bowl, but I mean, if I was him, you make millions of dollars like that. I'm not working into my 50s. I'm calling it quits. And
well, I'm thinking after this team
And crushing beers.
I don't know enough about their cap situation, but like if they have to go into a rebuild immediately after
Drink.
immediately after they win this, if they have to rebuild, then that might be a
I
consideration.
mean, I'm not sure if they.
I don't think they have to rebuild.
Or do you think they're built for a couple more years?
I think their window is,
Because they
if
have
I remember
Stafford.
correctly, their window's pretty good because Stafford's still under contract, Cooper Kupp's still under contract.
Bobby Trees would come back next year. They got
I don't know
tons of
about his
running backs.
contract, but I think OBJ just signed the 1 year, right?
I
So
think he wants. So OBJ sort of put out feelers out there that he wants to take a hometown discount to stay.
sure, which would make sense for him.
Yeah, because he already made a boatload of money from the Giants, like $100 million.
Right. They're 15 or they're 13 million over right now. But
It's not
like
bad at all.
Andrew Whitworth can be cut.
He's probably going to retire.
Right.
If they win the Super Bowl,
retire,
he's retiring.
if they cut him, he's only a $1.6 million towards the cap, but it's a $15 million cap save, $15.5 million cap saving. That alone is almost accounts for what they're over by and enough to sign. And because they don't have a first or a second round pick,
Oh
they don't
yeah,
actually need that much money to sign their rookie class. So
Right.
that alone accounts for and either retiring or cut.
that's also expectation for cap too. You don't even know what the cap's going to be yet, right?
Sure. They'll have to do some calculations, but I don't think it'll see the growth until next year because of
Yeah.
COVID. balancing.
I think
Sure.
Les Snead has done a good job building a roster.
I mean, this will be their second Super Bowl in 4 years. If they win it, obviously they've traded away a lot of their future picks.
Did they make the playoffs the previous 2 years?
I think they made, no, they might have missed it last year.
The last of the group years, but they've been very aggressive, and there is multiple ways to build a team. And if they win the Super Bowl, then you really can't discount it, because it's very difficult to win. It's difficult to get the playoffs, let alone win the Super Bowl in the NFL. And what the Patriots have done is supposed to be impossible.
And
Building dynasties is not a thing that should
in a
happen.
salary cap
In
era.
a salary cap era, with the way the rules are, with a reverse standing.
Oh, get in.
Everything.
Oh, I would have loved to see that.
So Cooper Cup, if the Rams win, it's going to be like the first time in a long time that the best receiver was on the Super Bowl winning team. Like typically you don't see that.
The league's best receiver for that year.
Yeah,
I mean,
like that almost
the
never
leading-
happens.
The leading passer has never won the Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
will obviously not win it this year, because not they're the ones in the Super Bowl. Are that, but
Same thing with the highest paid receiver. They're never
Oh,
on
that's a
Super Bowl
tough
teams.
spot to be in.
I mean, I can see where the highest paid receiver could eventually be a position that fills it in, because say the Bengals hadn't got Chase, and or like Devontae Adams goes and signs with the Chargers with Herbert still on his rookie
Sure.
contract. There's a lot of places where if you have a stud rookie quarterback, you have the leeway in your cap to sign premier offensive players while the rest of them are cheap. But again, there are 32 teams, and if it's a completely random, that's basically a 3% chance that the best at any position is going to win the Super Bowl that
Yeah.
year, right? So, and then the way, obviously, with cap influences and taking up that much percentage of your team's cap at a single position decreases it, like something like 18% is a sweet number for quarterbacks. No quarterback had ever won the Super Bowl while accounting for more than 18% of their team's cap. Everybody's underneath that. So
Yeah, there's a lot of these weird statistics that you would think wouldn't happen. Like all the years that Jerry Rice was being awesome, you'd think that he would be like, and they won those Super Bowls, you'd think he was the best receiver those years. He wasn't. He could have been second or third, but he was damn good. But there are all these anomalies where it's like the best passing quarterback who led the league isn't the guy. Same thing with wide receiver. Running back's a little bit different. I can't think of a running back that led the league and won a Super Bowl.
Terrell Davis.
Probably back then. Sean Alexander went to the Super Bowl. He led the league, but they lost that Super Bowl, I believe, to Pittsburgh.
Right,
Terrell
and then
Davis,
that-
Emmitt Smith, probably at some point.
And then
Maybe.
Damian Tomlinson was like the best offensive player in the league, and
Never
they
made
got-
it to the Super Bowl.
They got blown on the 06 play, like they lost in the 06 playoffs in the first round.
Yeah.
that they played. That was bad. But then
Oh,
again,
that's going to be in the beach.
But like,
Oh,
like Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing the past few years, and they're not in the Super Bowls.
I also think that if you look at the wide receiver position, if you are the best receiver in the league, it's probably an indication that the receiving depth on your team is weaker. Because if
Green Bay, perfect example.
right, if you have
It's
a
Devontae
better
Adams is
skill,
nobody.
like a spread of talent, you're more likely to succeed as a team while not having somebody have overinflated numbers due to
Yeah.
just being better.
Yeah.
Because a team that only has one offensive player, like if that player gets shut down, you're done.
Yep.
So, Jerry Rice was probably the best receiver in the league every year, but
also,
they could spread the ball around a
The
little bit.
Packers are dying for a second
do
wide
you
receiver.
think the talent pool was as good then? Y'all also?
I mean, the talent pool, it's hard to compare that era, because even in the early 90s, late 80s, defensive players could play the game so much different.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah, you
Jerry
could
Rice also
maul
literally
people.
put, glue on his gloves.
Yeah.
So
They changed the rule because the guy from Pittsburgh kept clotheslining the wide receivers, or he would just like dump truck them at the line of scrimmage. So they were like, yeah, we're going to put in pass interference.
But they also, years ago, they had a wide receiver named Lynn Swan that was pretty good. But I think Lynn Swan had come out and said he had Stickum.
Yeah. And then they also have Dante Stallworth on the other side. So that team had two good wide receivers.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're all in the Rams? Okay.
I have a hard time believing Bengals can win the game.
See, I think either team can win the game. It's up to Cincinnati's offensive line and what they can do. And
But can their defense hold down the Rams?
I bet it'd be able to hold down them well enough. The defensive line on Cincinnati is nothing to shake a stick at. They're pretty good.
Last thing, how many field goals does McPherson have?
That fucking kid's good, Jesus.
I'm going with
And he's
4.
got so much confidence. I love it.
He has 4. He keeps them in the game.
It's not a bad guess. I've been a Stafford apologist basically since he was born. But
Everybody's like Stafford. He's played for shit.
I love Matthew Stafford. I think he's great.
And
I think he deserves a Super Bowl.
right, and it's hard to hate a guy who's never won anything because he never beat your team. So like,
Yeah, right.
there's no reason. I don't really have any feelings towards Joe Burrow other than like he had a big injury last year. Glad that he came back. Good for him.
And that leg was
But-
folded.
Yeah, but
Their team is so young, they can win it next year. But the Rams are the older team, the veterans. They should win it this year.
there's a bunch of people on the Rams I don't like, but I'm just gonna go for Stafford at this
Yeah.
one.
Sarah, we're going to show you pictures of players, and you're going to tell us what team you want to win.
Who is it?
Just based on
Go by smiles.
Just based
By
on smiles. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about,
I don't think so.
I think we're good. We're going to get into some hot wings.
Hot wings in about 20 minutes.
I'm going to keep drinking these nooners.
Yep. Or you want nooners? Or you want some mules?
We'll do some meals.
Okay. Okay.
Not
okay.
opposed.
I might double fist.
Sounds about right.
Have some yellow jackets.
Are we
in
talking about drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. We're gonna do a live episode with
live stream.
live stream with us drinking and
By the
eating-
time they see this, though, the live stream will already happen.
That's true. We're gonna do some hot buffalo wings, like really hot, from the last dab from Hot ones.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. It's
Yeah.
actually
Both of
pretty
us
good.
had a little fingertip today. I mean, it's going to light us on fire,
Yeah.
but the thing about it is it's really tasty. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Do
It did
2 or
make us
3 of
cough a
those.
little.
Do 2 or 3 of those, and then some of the barbacoas. That was really good. I really like that one.
Yeah. So, we're staying, with a small circle during COVID. We're going to watch the Super Bowl. I just hope it's a great game. I hope the commercials are great. I expect to see Doritos commercials, Pepsi commercials, the usual. I just hope they're better than the last couple of years. So,
I agree. I have nothing else.
all right. Signing off. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you with a more complete episode probably next week.